Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today I'm here with a little bit of a play. Let's get some explanations out of the way. A couple of weeks ago I put on my community tab that I was thinking about buying a 6x6 gel press, and I said, do you think it's worth me buying it or not? Because I like working in the square format, although I usually work in a 12x12, so it's be a little bit of a challenge, but I quite like this. And you all said with the resounding result, yes, please go ahead. So excuse the noise. This is absolutely straight out of the packet, never used before. First thing I do is I take this plastic film off. I do keep this plastic film because I can use it for other projects. Say I want a window in a piece of ephemera or something. This is perfect width, so put that to one side. I don't, however, ever put it back on my gel plate. And if I was to put it back into the clamshell, I would not leave that in there. I put a piece of clean paper in there, sit it on, put another piece of clean paper on there before I close it up. The reason I do that is because let's see if I can make it do it. Right. If I was to put this back into the clamshell being this container, if it trapped bubbles, okay, you might be able to see there's a bubble there and a bubble there. If I didn't work those bubbles out, if I left them in the clamshell, those would make indentations in my gel plate press. So that's why if I put a sheet of paper there, the sheet of paper prevents that. So let's get rid of all of this lot to one side so I don't have to deal with it. While I'm working, I put them on a piece of plexiglass. What else do you call this? I call this piece of acrylic. I get them on eBay. I just look for them. Or sometimes if I'm in a thrift shop or a charity shop, I can find a picture frame that's got acrylic. I don't use glass. I use acrylic. These black dots are just basically non-slip feet. So let's just pop that on there. Now, I don't really mind if there's any air bubbles underneath this because they will get worked out, but then it's not being stored on this, so I'm not going to worry. So obviously the plate is 6x6, so I've cut some 12x12 cardstock up. Well, cardstock, it's probably about 200 GSM, I would say. So they're just going to fit on there, but I just wanted to play today. Now, what I'm going to do is move that to one side. I also have my 4-inch speedball brayer here as well, just so you know what we're doing. Now, a couple of months ago, I did some printing with hydrangea heads from the garden, and these are what we made. And I will put a link to the video in the description box, if not up in that one of these corners towards the end anyway. I've still got those earmarked for another project which I haven't started yet, but today I walked around my garden and pulled out some leaves. There's not a lot left in my garden that I can use, to be honest, and then someone bought me a bunch of flowers on the weekend, so I've plucked some of those out of the bouquet, and I'm going to just see whether I can just make some interesting something. This is purely me just breaking in this new gel plate, just so I can get used to it, get used to the amount of paint, get used to the size of it, just get this into my head, and then you'll see it in the future when I do other things. Now, if I've got spare paint on anything, as you know by now, I have these books and I just brayer off or put spare paint on them, so that's that. So I think we should, first of all, let's just sort these leaves and ferns out into little piles of leaves and ferns and flowers. Sorry, I know I'm not in shot for you guys, but it's only going to take me a second or two to do this. I don't want to turn the video off and then turn it back on again. So I think first of all is I just want to make maybe a few backgrounds before I start trying to get clever with anything. So I think I've got 8 pieces here, so let's just make 4 backgrounds just to warm the plate up. And by warming the plate up, I literally mean warming the plate up. Just by using small amounts of acrylic paint on the plate, brayering them out will help the condition of the plate become, what's the word I'm looking for, beneficial to being used. So I'm just going to come in with some colours. If I know what they are, I'll tell you. I think that was cadmium deep yellow hue. This is pink peony blush by Diana Reevely from Dilutions. I just want to get some colour onto the backgrounds. I'm not looking for perfect. I'm never looking for perfect because perfect is unattainable. Now, when you first get a gel plate, as you saw, I just opened this, sometimes you'll get this happening. And thinner paints will sometimes separate out. That doesn't bother me. In fact, sometimes it's something I quite like to find when I do my gel printing. Now, I know I've got a 6x6 card on a 6x6 plate, but I can guarantee I'm never going to be able to put it on absolutely centralized. So I will always spend a little bit of time on my first attempt just to cover up some of the edges that I may have missed, because I'd rather deal with them now than have to try and cover them up or deal with them later. So, right, that's just one. There you go, let's get on. See, isn't that lovely? Let's just clean my brayer off for a bit. Let's pull in another colour combination. It's a beautiful day here in Wales. We've had some horrendous weather the last couple of days. Well, last couple of weeks, should I say. I can't even blame the hurricane that's in America at the moment, because there's no way it's got to us yet. I'm wondering what version of that hurricane we're going to end up with when it gets here, if it gets here. I mean, my hope is really that it dissipates over the Atlantic on its way to us, because I really don't want to do that. And seeing the destruction and misery that it's caused in America, I don't think I ever want to see weather like that. So let's just get that down, lift it up. There'll always be white patches, as I said. My job is just to try and cover up the back enough so I don't have to do any more work than I really need to. Let's get a clean page in this book, or at least a page I want to use. I can't have used that one. Let's use this one. Right, let's just clean that off on there, because I don't want green on every one of these. Just print that on there. And this is how I just develop painty pages, just so I've got something building up, right? So we've got warm colours, we've got green colours. Let's put some blues in here somewhere, shall we? What's this? This is teal. It looks like a shuttle art. It is a shuttle art. So it's going to be a bit of a metallic. Well, not a bit of a metallic, it will be a metallic. And what's this one? Dark teal. Let's put a bit of that in there as well. It's certainly going to be more economical using a smaller plate, I can tell you, because I know that the amount of paint, bit of a goober on there, the amount of paint I normally have to put onto a 12x12 is obviously 4 times this amount, because this is a 6x6, so it's a quarter the size. Look at me doing math. Yeah, I'm horrible at figures, guys. I was born to be creative. I wasn't born to be a mathematician. Right, a little bit of that off there. Why aren't you picking up? What is it with that one little bit? There you go. I think I've got enough on here to do another one, to be honest. So I'm not going to load up another load of paint when I know I've got this much on here. Just clear off some of that on that sheet. So my plan is just to do stuff. What stuff, I don't exactly know. But then that's part of the reason I like gel printing, is I never really truly know. I can come to it with a goal in mind, and I will work to that goal. However, if my mood or my instincts tell me to change it, I will definitely change it, because that's where the excitement starts. That's where the magic comes in. Right, so I've got enough on those, so there's 4 different ones ahead of me. Right, now I want to do a couple of little things with these flowers. And the flowers I've got a couple of chrysanthemums. I think those are mini chrysanthemums. And a cup, oh, that's a chrysanthemum, and that's a gerbera. So let's just see what I can do, because I've seen someone doing this on YouTube and it fascinated me and I wanted to have a go. So basically that's where I'm going with this. Right, so let me think. If I'm going to use this to pick up paint, it will leave a pale area behind, so I don't mind if there's a darker colour over the top. Right, what is this? That's an orange. I don't want orange. I'd quite like something in the brownish sort of range. What's this? This is just a generic bottle of acrylic paint. If you see me using a bottle with no label on it, it is purely, it's one where I've used up excess paint from tubes or other bottles and just put it in there. So it's kind of come across. Now I don't think I need too thick of a layer, but I do need an even coat. Right, now what I've seen them do is they press this down and then they lift it up. Okay, maybe I should have pressed down harder. Yes, press down harder, right. Try not to dip my fingers in the paint around the outside. Okay, that gives me something interesting. Bit of visual texture there. I think I'm going to do the whole thing as almost a background. Well, not as almost a background, it will be a background. Now, obviously I'm building paint up on this flower as well, so I'm going to see whether I can print with this flower onto, right, let's set that to one side for a second. Let's pull in one of these books. Just out of curiosity, well, I can print off it. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, if I put a layer of transparent paint over this, I would actually then have these flowers on here. Okay, that's interesting, and it's flattened out quite a lot now, so I could conceivably keep going. So let's just see if I can find myself a transparent. I thought I had one somewhere. Okay, I can't find a transparent. I've got a semi-transparent here, so let's just see if I can get a small plate on the go. So I know I've been squirreled. This is a sidetrack, but just curious to see how it works out, how it would look when I do this. So I've just got a little bit of paint on my brayer. So it was a semi-transparent. If it was a transparent, I would have seen more through it. But as it dries, it will probably pick up something. Okay, I can see it. Just curious, just wanted to see what that would actually do. So, and then now I've got something on the brayer, and I've got to get this off onto something as well. Yeah, let's clean that up again. Now, this has been sat all this time, and I can tell for sure this is not dry. So why don't we just try and do one pull of this as is, and it may leave behind some residual that I can use on another one. So just going to press that down gently. I don't want to press it down too much that it lifts everything off, but just curious to see what it leaves. Okay, that's interesting. I can work with that. And I have stuff down here. Now that is going to look really interesting. I wonder. Let's see if I can just pop it onto this one. I'm not sure this is going to come off now because that probably didn't lift off the first one because it was dry. But just pressing it down from behind just in case I hadn't found a bit. See, the trouble with these thinner acrylic plates, as you can see, they bend. But you know what? I use them because I can pick them up and move them around. I've got several gel presses in my life, and if I'm working on several projects at the same time, I like to be able to pick them up. Right, see where we got with this. Okay, that was interesting. Probably not what I mean, I could come in and pick up even more there, but we're not going to do that. Right, so I've done it with that. Now I wonder whether I can do it with these. These are a bit more cupped. Let's just put some yellow on there. I'm feeling yellow. not personally, but paint-wise. It's a bit thicker paint than I expected to put on there. It's going to take me a while to get used to the amount of paint I'm going to be using on this plate. I'm absolutely sure you of that. Let's just clean that off on there. Right, so let me think this through. Let's see if I can pick this up with these flowers. And print it across to this one. I'm getting something. It may not have been the best color choice. I'm definitely getting what we're beginning to lose petals now. Okay, definitely getting something. Do I will leave it at 3? Maybe I do. Let's put that one to one side. This one's pretty much falling to pieces on me, so I think that'll have to go towards the bin. Right, let's pull in a leaf. Let's pull in this sort of leaf. I think this is from my hydrangea. Let's just put that down and see what I pick up. And can I print with the leaf? Oh, I can print with the leaf. Oh, interesting. I think I may have to. I wonder whether I should really dry this. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not hating that. Let's put that to one side, or else I'll keep adding to it and I'll lose it. Right. I wonder if I put it onto, that, it'll probably turn it green. I think I need to get a hairdryer on this. So there you go. I've got a small travel hairdryer that I've used for years, as you can see by the muck on the handle. I didn't have it on high heat because I wouldn't do that to my gel plate. But there you go, that's all nice and dry now. So I want to pick this up with a colour that's going to contrast it. And I'm thinking I'd quite like to come in with red. Now I don't need a huge thick coat of this, so I'm just going to put a bit on here. The paint is not supposed to come in these bottles, by the way. This was an attempt of mine to decant the tubes that kept falling over to try and put them into another container that I might find more easily storable. It was not a success. Let's just put it that way. I'm hating the bottles more than I hated the tubes. Right, so I've got a thin coating on there. Let's just put this on the top of here. And give it a press down. Where's my Baron gone? Right, this is a Baron. It's a tool, I believe, that was originally used in printing, but not normally made out of wood. But this one is carved by someone called Anthony Cody from Cody Woodcrafts on Etsy in America. He does ship internationally. Obviously, I've got one. And I chose his. He worked with me to get the right size. And it's there basically to take the stress off my wrist. Because there's a weight to this. And because it's flat, it flattens everything down. So let that sit for a second. Let's just get this spare paint rolled off my brayer so I don't end up struggling with it. Let's see if I have a bit of a sneaky peek. Oh, that's going to be interesting. I've even got the little dots from the centres of the flower. I've got an idea, I think, for that. Yes, I think I have. Right, let's sit for a second. So where am I up to? What have I got to do? So I've got this one. I think this needs a glaze over it. And by a glaze, I mean it just needs something that's going to cover the whole thing in one go. And I think I know what I want to use. Transparent red iron oxide. It's very much feels like this color, although it is really transparent. So I'm hoping it'll give me some interesting effect on that one. This one is work in progress, as are the other two. And I think I'm going to be doing more of the printing with stuff onto these than pretty much picking up, which is why I started out at that. I'm not sure this is going to be dry yet, but guess what? I'm going to pull it off anyway. Oh, it was dry enough. Okay, that's interesting. I'm liking that. I think I wonder whether that will come off on anything. I don't think it's going to. It's probably going to be too dry to lift off. No, it's exactly what I expected it to do. Right, I'm going to leave that on there. Let's put this glaze on here while I'm thinking about it. So with these golden paints, these what are called high flow acrylics, they are really, really liquid. So always put your finger over the beak of the bottle before you give it a shake. And when you do it back up again, wipe its little nose off or wipe it off on a cloth, whichever you see fit. Just know that you are going to need to clean the end of the tip of it every time, because if you don't, you'll end up with problems. Right. Now I want this on here, but I don't want it on here really thickly. So this is what's called a glaze. It will be if I get it thin enough to put on there. I think that'll be okay. Now I find that these high flows dry really, really quickly, so which I find exciting because it means I can just move on to the next thing. Let's just start another one of these. I'm loving where this is going. I could cut that into autumn leaves if I wanted to. Don't need that left down there. There you go, that's given me something far richer in colour. Liking that, that's getting interesting. So I've got these two that I think need other things on them, but maybe not just yet. I wonder whether I just pick up anything on there. Only because we've just put paint on it, so it might have softened whatever was on the plate. And it did, and it pulled off some of the stuff. That was fine. Right, so I've got two plain ones left, and I'd quite like to work with the ferns. Ferns are one of my favourite plants. Or I think actually, is it fern? I think you call them ferns. I think you call them bracken. Do some of you call these bracken? They're ferns to me. I know that things get called different things all around the world. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put these down, pressed onto paint, lift the thing up. You'll see what I mean. Right, I need a colour that I want to work with these. Well, I quite like sap green. And I want to add a little bit of yellow to it because I'm not trying to mimic the colour totally, but I would like something that's a little bit closer to it than that is. Well, I've got processed yellow, which is quite a lemon yellow to me. Well, it reminds me I need to do the colour combo. I haven't done that this month either yet. There's been a lot going on in this last couple of months, guys, for me personally, so hopefully I'm keeping up with everything, but bear with me. If I don't, I might explain one day. I'm not sure. Right, so I've got that down. Green dries reasonably fast for me. Just going to pop that on there. Pop that by there. And this one's pretty battered. I'm going to lay it down anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down and press it down really firmly. What I want to do is I want to get the paint to come up in between the parts of the leaf. In fact, I think I might have put them the wrong way up. No, I didn't. I put them vein side down is what I intended to do. Right, so I'm going to come in, I'm just going to peel up part of this edge, enough for me to take this off, and then put that back down again. And I'm going to work my way around doing this with each of the ferns. And because I'm holding in place, it should put the markings from the underneath of the fern onto it. And what I'm going to come in and do, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to see whether I can get anything onto these. Now, these are just basically, in my mind, possibly throwaway pieces. That one needs to be thrown away. That one's just dead in the water. So let's just put that in and give that a bit of a press. Just a bit of a clean up. Did it print anything? It gave me a little something. If I'd have had a thicker layer of paint, I probably would have had more on there. But I'm put these to one side. I've already destroyed one. I don't want to destroy all of them. Right. See what I ended up with. Okay, that's interesting. Just playing, just absolutely playing. Right, so I've got one piece left. Now I had an idea, or did I? Let's work with this one. Actually, let's work with 3 of them. They're different then. And then I'm going to work after that. I'm going to work with some of these leaves because I've also got these leaves as well. I'd quite like to play around with those. So what colour will I do these in? Right, I'm going to go, I've got this really like baby sort of pink, not one of my favourite colours. And when it runs out, I'm not sure it's going to be completely replaced. It might be replaced with another pink, but at the end of the day, if I have red and I've got white, that means I've got pink. So I don't always need to have pre-made colours. I just need to remember my colour theory. Right. Pinch in the middle. That came out okay. Right, this is one we've not done before, so that grew larger than I expected. Okay, that's interesting. Let's put it on the side there. And then I know this one works. I think by there we'll be okay. I think the reason I like doing stuff like this, it gave me a really nice impression of that. The reason I like doing stuff like this, guys, is because it gives me something absolutely 100% unique. Now I'm just going to come in and press the leaf down just to create some veins. Just smack that with that, and I needed to put... There you go. So I stuck my finger in, right. That's going to be needing a bit of a dry... Or do I want to pull it? And we're dry. So I'm going to come in with a really pale lemon. This is Winsor & Newton Galleria Pale Lemon. And I'm doing this because I want to keep this relatively delicate in its appearance. That's probably too much paint. I must admit, I'm struggling with the amount of paint. But as I said at the beginning, I'm probably going to struggle with the amount of paint because this is a size plate I'm not used to using. Mind you, I don't know why I'm struggling when I do use a 5x7. And if you do your math, the surface area would be equal to a 5x7. But in my mind, this is not a 5x7, so... Right, I want a thinnish coat just so the vibrancy of the white shows through as well. Let's just spray over the back of this. Right, so I still have these two, and that's good because I do have plans for them. I was playing, remember guys, so see, that would make a good autumnal tag. This needs a coating of something just to knock it down a bit. This still needs work, and I do quite like this. Although I do have an idea for more to do with them. I think this one I'm probably going to class as finished, to be honest. I like where that's at. I'm going to put it to one side, just so I don't pick it up inadvertently. This one is a long way from finished. This one has potential. I'm just not sure where to go with that yet. Let's just see what this one's done for me. Oh, I like that. And I like the way it cleaned the plate up as well of any green. Okay, that's looking nice and grungy. Just leave that dry because I'm going to get fingerprints all over the place. Right, let's just pick up this bit on the corner with that. Right, so let's focus on, I said I wanted to glaze this, didn't I? Now, let's think this through. If I put green on this, it's just going to get greener. If I put blue on this, it's going to make this a darker green, it'll make these blue. If I put a yellow on it, it's going to make the green greener, but it's going to make these yellow. So I'm thinking we need something pretty much a transparent, if I've got one. I wonder, have I got olive here somewhere? I've got olive green. If I put olive with a little bit of something, or if I put olive really, really thin, what is this? See, it's an opaque. I don't really want it as an opaque. Okay, it's a random idea, but I'm going to use champagne gold. I know, that's, as I said, it's a random idea. And I'm going to put a bit of the olive green with it. And put a really thin layer of it onto this gel plate. And that should give me something. So I'm just going to move this around a bit just to mix it up. So it's going to be almost a green gold. I can already tell it's going to be transparent enough just by seeing what it's looking like on this plate. I'm just going to get this on here as quick as possible. So I know that some of these paints dry quicker than others. I also know that paints that have got metallics in them, for me, dry really, really quickly. Yeah, I don't have any green gold. I've seen people with green gold, but I haven't got any. Maybe I need to, next time I go to my art supply store, I need to look for green gold. I can't remember which brand I see you all using. I'll have to have a look. This was just a bit of wet strength tissue, guys. Just me tidying up the plate a little bit as I go along. Okay, that's more interesting. I like the shine on it. It needs more, but I think it needs more, but not in a hurry. Right, this needs more, but I know what that's going to get. This needs something, and these need something. I've got an idea for these, and I think now is possibly the time to do it. So I want to find something that's darker than this. Well, I think this is Van Dyke Brown. In fact, I'm certain it's Van Dyke Brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the bigger leaves that I've got. That's a very liquid Van Dyke Brown. Okay, it's probably going to hopefully not squish around too much on me. So I'm just going to put a layer of paint on here and use this as an ink pad. So get paint onto the back of my leaf and then press it down. I think I've seen someone printing with leaves. I think that's where I've seen this sort of thing done before, because it's certainly not my original idea. I'm liking where that's going. I think it was a while ago and I can't remember who it was. I had a feeling it was a video that wasn't in English, in that it looked like it was a video in another language. I don't know whether it had subtitles over it or whether it just had music or something, but never mind. Just know that it's not my idea. You might see someone else doing it, and I think that's where I saw it from. Right. This isn't the last layer on here. I want another layer on top of that, but that's a good enough start. I think I want to come in with this one and do it again on here. I mean, this would be a great way to start getting an impression. I mean, I could go around that and doodle that leaf now that I can see the veining on it. Oh, hands covered in stuff. So yes, I don't know why I wanted a 6-inch square. I don't know why. Probably it's a size I don't have, but it is a great size for making. Let's see, what could I do? I could do ACTs at it, ATCs, artist trading cards. I do postcards of this. I could do card fronts. I could do several different things with this. Right. I think that's enough on there. Right. And I'm going to take what's remaining on here. Actually, let's just move some of this around so that I don't see my fingerprints all over the place. Yeah, which I've got fingerprints all over everything now. And let's just pick that up with that, because we've got almost a metallic look to the back of this. Right, this needs braying off. Right, do we think that's picked up? It has. Ooh, how moody is that? Pick up some of that off there. Oh, I like that. Right, let's just see if I can get anything off here onto this book before I start wiping this down, because I don't want that on my next layers. So where are we up to? Right, we've got this one, which I like as is, and that's not going to be altered. We've got this one, which is lacking something. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just try. Now, I don't want to. So I'm having a moment's thought. I don't know whether I want to stay very dark, or whether to go very light, or whether to stay green. I think I want to go black. Right, let's do a little bit of Mars black. Only a little bit, because goodness knows this goes a very long way, and I'll be cleaning up for hours unless I'm very careful. Where's my brayer gone? Right. First of all, I'm going to press one of the small ones down. To pick up the paint, and then just lay it on here somewhere. There's my bit of tissue, and print that on there. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've only got 2 ferns left. Remember, the third one fell to pieces. Loving that. Right, now if I use the same thing with the larger fern, and I put the smaller one back on again to pick up more paint as well. Let's just use this to pop this down with. Now this is going to pick up paint on the ferns. It's also going to take paint off my plate, which doesn't bother me. I just have to remember not to place this down, because see, it gives me something. Right. You'll note I'm not trying to put them where they were in the first place. Let's just take a bit of the clean bit and press that down. Now, when I'm using things like leaves to print with, I do have to remember that if I leave them on there too long, what's going to happen? The leaf is going to get stuck to the paint, and then the paint's going to pull the leaf to pieces, and I'm going to have an awful job getting it off. I like that. I might just make that one big square journal card. I mean, I could, if I cut it like that, it would make a nice tag, but then I've got that half. If I cut it this way, actually I could cut it that way, and I've got two tags. Don't know, this is being considered as finished, and I'm back. So now I wanted to go on to white, and this white is nearly out, so it's probably going to make some disgusting noises. There you go, disgusting noises, told you. That's probably more than I needed on there, but I'm going to do quite a bit with white, so I'm not overly bothered. So again, a thinnish coat. I've got a load on this brayer, so I know it. Lisping here, so I know I can use it as I go along. Right, this one, which one was it I wanted to do it? It was this one. I wanted to come in with some of these leaves. Just press them down. Laying them down, and then I've just got paper. I've got music paper here, just so I can press them down flat onto there without me putting my fingerprints on. Again, coming in. Have I told you I like doing stuff like this? I should have done if I didn't already. Just compose it on there. Give it a bit of, am I in shot? I am in shot, thank you. Now I know we normally only do 3 on something, but I'm going to do as many as it takes to fill up this card, because it makes it more interesting. Because remember, what I'm doing here in my mind is a background. I like that. Right, that one's considered done. And what I'm going to do is, just because I've got this leaf on the go, let's just give it a bit of a touch down on some of these. These again are just pages in one of those books that I'm cleaning my brayer off on. There you go, I like that. I'm going to rip this one out so I don't do anything more on it, because I think, oh, it doesn't matter, because they're going to be used for collage anyway. So this goes into my pile of stuff for use for collage, and that gives me another starting point. Right, so I've still got this here, and I've still got white paint. So restart that again. And I wanted to come in here, and I wanted to put white onto here, but I didn't know what I wanted to do it with. Maybe I'll do it with this flower. again, just a background. Oh, that looks cute. I wonder. I'm having an idea, guys. Right, I wasn't planning on doing this bit. Well, I wasn't planning on a lot of things, but stuck all over me. Right, so that's given me interest there. And I'm wondering, I'm just going to put this one over the top of it. I want to go down, and I don't want to move it around. I don't want to smudge it or smear it. I will take a look at this one in a moment. I shall see what these two are. Let's just put that over there. So I've got these two. Now I do have this flower that's full of paint. I wonder that I can go back in and press where the original flowers were. Yes, I can. Yeah, these open dahlias are falling to pieces. So, oh, did I hit you with my glasses? I'm sorry. Yeah, I think need to pick more robust flowers than the ones I'm using. Certainly can't say it's not organic. It's organic all over it. Yeah, look, it's falling to pieces, right. But you know what? I'm okay with that. If I just put a little more something on there, don't know what, I'll be quite happy with that. And this one, I liked it, but now I've gone off liking it. So I need to do something different with this one. Let's see how this turned out. That's interesting. Let's see if I can cover up some of that edge. Interesting. Again, it needs a something. This is what I call kissing the plate. So I'm just literally touching down in areas to frost out areas. And this here, if I'm quite clever, I should be able to get rid of that edge. I'm just going to frost over this completely because it's not rocking my world, guys. If in doubt, white it out. I think I'm okay. I'm far better with that, actually. Right. What else do I want to do to these? And as I said, I could come in and doodle some of this. This one, I think, is going to take too much work for me to finish in this video, so I'm going to park this one. These two, however, are attracting me in a certain way, and I think this one needs red. This one here. And I think I want to come in red, and I want to come in with red and put leaves into it. Nearly out of that. Now, what leaves I want to put in there? I did quite like the size of this leaf, didn't I? Am I still in shot? I am still in shot. So I'm not trying to mimic exactly what I had before, but I am going to try and place them in a similar area so that I don't confuse the eye by having too many leaf type shapes in there. I'm liking this printing with the leaf. Okay, I think that's okay. That's almost, I think I'm going to regard that as finished. Right, now this one here, I like it, but I'm not sure whether I want to do something on top of that. Have I got anything I can pick up with? Well, I have the gerbera, which we've only used once. Let's see if I can get the gerbera to go down on here without falling to pieces like the dahlia did. Yes. Right, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of putting this in the same area that the heads of the previous flowers are. Oh, I'm really liking the gerbera. And it's a little bit more robust. In fact, I'm quite surprised how robust a gerbera is. Now, I couldn't tell you what I'd use a print like this for, because I don't know. But you know, it could possibly be used for Valentine's Day. It could be on the front of a card for birthday. I'm looking at this, wondering whether that's worth trying to pull. Let's just grab the pink that I've given up on and stick it on there. Just so I clean up everything else. Right, you can go and sit on, think about yourself. Right, I've got such a mess on my desk. Okay, that turned out better than I thought that was going to. So that's better, all nice and cleaned up. So let's just pull this last one that we just did and see if I made any difference to it whatsoever. It's interesting. It needs a bit of work. It will go into my drawer of pieces that need finishing off. So, but you know what? You've got to go through ugly to get to beautiful. So I will put that to one side. We won't look at that one again. Right, now, these are the ones that we've done, and I do quite like them. Remember, I said these were backgrounds, so I'm not judging them. I really like this one, though. That one may stay exactly as it is. I quite like this one as well. This one obviously needs something, but it was always going to need something, and I really, really like this one. But there are one or two things I just want to do. I just want to put a little bit of contrast into them. Not all of them, just some of them. A little bit of contrast into them. Just a bit of very fine detail. And I'm going to use this plastic canvas or whatever they call it. Right, I don't really want to do any on there. I do want to do some on here, so let's just put that to one side. So I'm just going to brayer this out. I just fancy having a little bit of something on each of them. So bringing that in, touch it down, touch it down, and that's all that may need. Right. This one I think might need something, but not a huge amount. We'll take a closer look when they're all done. Right, this one, I think it just needs a little something in that corner there. Possibly a little bit there as well. Yeah, try not to destroy that one. This one does need something. I wonder. Yeah, it might be okay. This one needs something, but it's not mesh. This one needs real drama. So I'm going to pull in, this is like a non-slip draw liner thing. Obviously that's a technical term, a draw liner thing. I'm just going to put this just lightly in a couple of places. Could have been just slightly darker there, would have been nicer. There you go. I think those are okay. Right, excuse my big my big guillotine, but this is what I use. So I would just come in, like if you look at this, the white edges are really distracting, and I didn't eliminate them when I was actually working, and as these are not for any set purpose except a background, I can cut them to any size I want. See, now that looks a lot better. I could cut that into 2 tall tags. I could cut it and have corner pockets. I could do them as a big journaling card to go behind a belly band. This isn't that bad actually. I'm a bit distracted by that line down there. Now, I think in hindsight, if I'd have had my pieces at, say, 7 inches by 7 inches instead of 6 by 6, the pieces I was printing on, then I probably wouldn't have ended up with so many edges. This could easily be cut right down the center to give me 2 different tags. This one, I really like this. I wouldn't do anything else with that except back it, obviously. I could even have that on a journal cover. Now, it also depends on how much you cut off as to whether you need to nip the corners as well. Sometimes rounding the corner will just get rid of that little touch of white, like there's a little bit of white there. I could just round those corners, but this one's got a way to go anyway. But I think this is going to become tags. This one I like. I just like to take that edge off there. I think that's all I'm going to... Oh, actually, I want to take that little bit of an edge off there as well. I've just seen the pink there. I should have just gone all the way around it like I did all the others, shouldn't I? I like that. That could almost be wintry. And this one, again, just take off some of these ugly edges. Okay, let's take that out of the way. So I'm happy with those guys. As a first play on my new 6x6, I'm happy with what I got here. As I said, these are by no way finished. I mean, this one is. This will become something. It might go into my nature journal. I'm not sure where that one will go. But these are purely backgrounds, but they would be fun journal cards. I could have put a focal point on some of them. I could just leave them as they are and they just go into journals. So, well, thank you for being patient with me, guys, and seeing me through all that. And thank you for those who told me, yes, go ahead and buy the 6x6. I will use it more often, probably when I'm making postcards, artist trading cards, and cards for card fronts, for greetings card fronts. But I'm pleased with that, very, very pleased with that. Right, I'm Ceri the Crafter, and that's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, goodbye now.